Alright guys, just San here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. And in today's video, we're going to be checking out the TEQ JIREN, because I did mention we were going to do a showcase on this guy in the previous video, so here we are. And look, I'm just going to be straight up with you. This guy sucks, right? He's very old, he's pushing 3 years old at this point, and he doesn't really have much tech built into his kit. So by that, I mean he doesn't really have any like dodge, damage reduction, guard, or anything like that. And unfortunately, to be able to tank now, you do kind of need that built into your kit. And because this guy released in such a completely different time period, he doesn't have that. He really just has a start of turn defensive stat, and that's pretty much it. So of course, this guy is going to be lacking in modern content, but if you consider this guy's age, he's not horrible. I mean, if you're running the Universe 11 team, even now, he's going to be one of your best options on that category, maybe behind like the free-to-play casserole, because this team just really sucks. But I don't want to take it away from him. He's pretty much the best lead for that category. I think he's the only lead for that category, but, you know, he's the best lead for the category, and he's one of the best options on there. So I guess there is that, but I don't know. His use is going to be very limited just because, again, he is very aged. But before we get into the video, if you find yourself enjoying it at any point, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you want to skip around to any part, then absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So on this opening rotation right here, we are going to have 3 out of 7 links. So we do have the main links like, you know, Godly Power, Tournament Power, Fierce Battle active, which do give a lot of attack and a little bit of defense between all that. And we do also have a lot of support. We got some support from the UI Goku and from the Bardock. And start of turn, all right, 276k defense. So look, that kind of sucks, right? Because again, this guy doesn't get defense on super. He doesn't have guard, damage reduction, dodge, anything like that. So outside of his active skill, his defensive stat is not going to change at all. So that definitely isn't good. But again, you got to consider this guy's age. You know, you got to consider the time period he released in was completely different. But okay, right here we are going to get well over an 18 key super. So again, we got a pretty good turn for him. We have double support. And we do also have a good amount of links active. So overall, a good turn. You'd think we'd be looking good right here. But unfortunately, you know, that defensive stat, it is just a little low. But let's see what attack stat he's going to do right here. So 6.65. Okay. I mean, that's not good. But if you consider some of the things this guy has built into his kit, that's not horrible either. So this guy does get a guaranteed crit when the enemy is stunned. So then that means, obviously, if you stun the enemy, then doing a 6.65 million attack stat with a crit isn't horrible. Actually, that's pretty good, even by today's standards. But then, you know, his defense is horrible. There's not really a situation where his defense isn't going to be. So even though his attack stats are looking good and can look good in some situations, it still doesn't really matter because his defense just is not going to be good. But then this guy does also get attacks effective against all types when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down status. So in Super Battle Road, or really in any event where you can attack lower, defense lower, and stun, this guy is going to do a lot of damage between the attacks effective against all types, and then of course the guaranteed crit. So in that event, you know, he can look really useful, but unfortunately, most of the events now do cancel the debuffs. So it's not really like you're going to be able to make use out of this in a lot of difficult content. So just keep that in mind when running him. But okay, right here we're at 253k defense, so I think a little bit of a drop actually. So still not the craziest, but I guess considering his age, you know, it's not horrible. I mean, I don't want to, you know, really go off on this guy too much. I mean, of course, he's a very old unit. So, you know, I mean, he's not going to be looking as impressive as some of the modern LRs, but I don't know. He released, I think, after the STR UI Goku, and, you know, the UI Goku is still looking pretty solid. I mean, I guess it's a different case with the UI Gokus because, of course, they have dodge built into their kit, and, you know, dodge is a very good mechanic even now. But looking in hindsight now, I think there definitely was a couple things they could have done to make this Jiren just age a little bit better, right? But okay, we did get the additional right there. Pretty solid. I mean, you know, a little over 4 million with the additional, and we did get the crit. We can't stun right here, so obviously we didn't have the guaranteed crit, but I guess that was our hidden potential system. So in terms of your hidden potential system, it doesn't really matter. Actually, well, it does. I think full dodge is probably the way to go with this guy. I don't think I've ever recommended full dodge on a unit before, but with this guy, because he doesn't really have any defense on super, I don't think additionals are really going to benefit him that much. And he does already have crits built into his kit, and he is tech, so then that means he already has the base 5 crit. So I think dodge is actually kind of the way to go in terms of building this guy in the hidden potential system. But if you really want to be smart, I would probably just wait until his EZA gets announced, because I'm sure we'll see that within the next maybe year or two, which, you know, is definitely a good bit away, but I don't know, maybe we could see it sooner, because Dokkan is very weird with their EZAs, right? So I don't really know what they got planned, obviously, but I think there are definitely a lot of other Universal Rival Saga units that would need their EZA before this guy. So that's why I say it might take like a year or two, because, you know, people like the STR Jiren, even the STR UI Goku are much older than this guy. So it makes more sense for them to get their EZA first before him. But if you want to be smart, I would say just like do all the nodes in a hidden potential system, except for the actual spots where you put in the additionals, crits, or dodge, and just wait until his EZA details get announced and then build him accordingly to that. But okay, right here, we're going to be looking a lot better. We're going to have 4 out of 7 links active, so we do link up pretty well with the STR UI Goku, and we also have some support. So right here, we're at 253k defense. I am actually going to throw him in slot 1, because he does get 1 key with every attack received up to 5. So just throughout the fight, it'll be easier and easier for him to get an 18 key super. And then also, you do have to receive 5 attacks to do his active skill, which, it's good, I guess. I mean, you get 30% attack and defense, so of course that is very good. You need all the defense you can get. I mean, even 30% is still going to help this guy, because, you know, that started from defensive stat is definitely pretty low. And then he does also debuff the enemies for 30% attack and defense for 1 turn, which, again, not really going to be able to make too much use out of that in difficult content, but maybe in Super Battle Road, you know, it'll be pretty good. And the only reason I just say Super Battle Road and not Extreme Super Battle Road is because you just can't run this guy in Extreme Super Battle Road, right? He's just going to take a lot of damage. So I think Super Battle Road is pretty much the only place where you're going to be able to make use out of that. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But okay, I guess what we can do is we can just showcase the next rotation, where we're most likely going to be able to pop his active skill. And then we'll go ahead and nuke with him on the rotation after that. And then we'll cut to the Red Zone Broly event, because, of course, he does have type advantage during the final phase. So I would be curious to see how well he's tanking during that phase. I don't think he's going to be able to tank at all. I think he's still going to take like 50 to 100k per normal. But I guess we'll see. I mean, regardless of him having type advantage, his defensive stat is still pretty low, right? So, okay, I think we're going to be able to use his active skill here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we can. Okay, perfect. So let me make sure I have the skip off, which I didn't have it off. Okay. And actually, I haven't seen this in forever. I mean, I don't use this TEQ Jiren that much. I think I have him like 79% on my global account, but, you know, you never really use him anyway, so you never get the chance to see this. But anyway, let's go ahead and pop this. Okay, I mean, yeah, the animation is definitely pretty alright. So, of course, we did get the extra 30% attack and defense buff, but as you can see right there, only 179k defense. So that definitely is very low, but we don't have any defensive support right here. We only have attack support from the Bardock. So, you know, that defensive stat is pretty bad. That definitely does suck, but I don't know, we might have our defense lowered right here, but even if we do, with the active skill, still, that is very low. But we'll go ahead and see his damage right here. I think his damage actually is going to look pretty good, because, you know, his damage hasn't been horrible throughout the video. And considering we have an even more, you know, damage buff on this turn, I think it definitely will be looking pretty good. But wow, 41k per normal. I mean, yeah, I guess we have type disadvantage, but still. Okay, so 9 million. That's not bad. 9 million definitely is pretty solid, because, again, if the enemy was attack or defense lowered, we would have the super effective against all types. And if the enemy was stunned, we would have the guaranteed crit. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This guy's damage isn't really horrible, but I don't know, man. His defense is just, it's never really going to get to a point where it's good. I'll say that. But all right, with all that shown, I guess we can go ahead and cut to the red zone test. We'll just nuke with him in there, because unfortunately we died. So yeah, let's go ahead and cut to that. All right, so we're here fighting Red Zone Broly, and we do have a very good turn for him right here. We do have his active skill. So, of course, you know, we're going to be looking a little bit better because of that. I think the last turn we used his active skill, we were defensive debuffed, because right here, as you can see, we don't have any support again. And with the active skill, we're at like 344k defense. So definitely a big jump in terms of our defense on these active skill turns. So this is more of a realistic turn. You know, we're not defensive debuffed. We don't have any support, so keep that in mind. But of course, we do have a little bit more links active, because we have him next to the UI Goku. Now, I guess we can just nuke with him, right? We got his active skill. We're going to see him tank right here. We got a lot of tech key spheres on the field already, so kind of works out. Okay, how many is that? 21. Okay, that looked like a lot less. Okay, 21 key spheres, that works out perfectly. So do the nuke test and the red zone test both in one. 2 birds, 1 stone. So it kind of works out perfectly here. I don't want to get supered first thing because I think we would die. Actually, I don't know. We got 739 HP. Okay, well, that was a bit of damage. That definitely wasn't double digits. And then now we're taking a super. So how much is this going to do? We have a lot of HP though, so I think we would survive. Okay, 382k, and then 12k per normal, and then a 20 million attacks that. So yeah, I mean, his damage obviously looks good. We've been saying that throughout the whole video. His damage is impressive. But, I don't know, man. 400k from his super, basically. And this is, like, his ideal rotation. We got his active skill. We've got majority of our links active. We don't have any support, but I don't know. There's not many support units you can bring in difficult events to help this guy, right? I mean, of course, there's a couple here and there. You know, you got the physical Bardock, but this is still a very realistic rotation, and he is still taking a lot of damage. I mean, of course he is going to take a lot of damage. You know, he's a very old unit, but regardless, I mean, still, you can't really run him in difficult events, and he has type advantage right here. So just keep all that in mind. Also, we did bring the Zeno support memory, so we did have the extra 10% attack and defense from that. But overall, he's not looking horrible. He's about looking how I would expect. You know, he's taking a lot of damage, but of course, he's very old. So, you know, defensively, he's not going to look amazing. But in terms of his damage, he's looked pretty solid throughout the video. I think on that one turn, we got to like 9 million without using the nuking items. So that definitely was pretty impressive. But with all that shown, let's go and cut to the unit breakdown. All right, so here we have Majesty of the Mighty Jiren Full Power. I like that title. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds cool. I like that. Yeah, that's good. All right, so his leader skill is Universe 11, category Key +3, HP attack and defense plus 170%, or Universe Survival Saga, category Key +3, HP attack and defense plus 150%. Again, we already went over this. He's the best Universe 11 lead. I think, actually. Let me check really quick. Yeah, he is, because this is a ban unit, so she probably leads for like 130%, and then same with him. And then I know the free-to-play casserole, he's like probably 77% to Universe 11. Yeah, or he's 40%. Okay, so not even 77%. All right, so yeah, Universe 11 category doesn't have many good leads, so it's definitely a good thing that he does lead it for 170%. And then the passive is attack and defense plus 200%. He gets 1 key with every attack received up to 5. He gets attacks effective against all types when the enemy is in attack down or defense down status. And then he performs a guaranteed crit when the target enemy is stunned. And that is pretty good because on his super attack effect, I think he does have a stun chance. Yeah, so on his 12 key, he causes colossal damage, greatly lowers defense. And then on his 18 key, he does Mega Colossal, massively lowers defense, and then does have that medium chance to stun. So that definitely is pretty good considering he does get the guaranteed crit, again, if you stun, so kind of works out with him. And then he does have the active skill as well. So the condition for that is that the character has to receive 5 attacks, and then the actual effect is that you get 30% attack and defense, and then you debuff the enemy minus 30% attack and defense for 1 turn, and then you do also guaranteed stun them, which is pretty good because, you know, between the extra 30% attack and defense, the debuff of minus 30% attack and defense, the stun, so obviously you're not going to take any damage, and you get the guaranteed crit, this guy definitely is going to be doing a lot of damage. And you're also going to be super effective against all types because, you know, the enemy is in an attack down and defense down status because you do lower the attack and defense. So, I mean, in Super Battle Road, his active skill is going to be very useful, and receiving 5 attacks isn't that difficult. I mean, you'll definitely be able to see it in Super Battle Road. So moving on to his links, he has Supreme Warrior, Shocking Speed, Infighter, Godly Power, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. His categories are Universe Survival Saga, Realm of Gods, Full Power, Powerful Comeback, Universe 11, Space Traveling Warriors, Defenders of Justice, and then Battle of Fate. So that is the LR Jiren. Let me know what you guys are thinking of this guy down in the comments, and let me know what you want his EZA to look like, because again, I think we'll probably see that relatively soon, like within the next year or two. And yeah, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.